by my captain.
We are finally at Lady Dinner party. Of course, Allison was looking for Harder, and Harder arrived with Fraser. If you notice, when Allison walked over to them, Harder was super happy to see her, but Fraser not so much.
Why must Lady Denham be so spiteful? She's trying to put me in my place. She thinks me a hypocrite. It's hardly hypocritical to stand up for what's right. I'm all too aware of the suffering my fortune represents. That's exactly why I cannot stay silent.
If you remember in season 1, Charlotte had a deep conversation with Otis and Georgiana about slavery. Back then, Charlotte wasn't too aware that slavery still existed in other countries. Now we in season 2, and I just want to point out, by watching this scene between Georgiana and Charlotte, it just shows how far that deep conversation have gone from season 1 to season 2. Charlotte is all in for Georgiana. She supports Georgiana and support her political beliefs in slavery, and that just shows that Charlotte is a really good friend to Georgiana. At the same time, she started to reveal to Charlotte that she really struggling in living her life in Sanditon, especially in the public eye. For example, Lady Denham is giving Georgiana a hard time, and at the party, if you remember this episode, Lady Denham basically confronted Georgiana and told her that she's not supporting the sugar boycott and that she's careless about it and really doesn't consider in what Georgiana believes in.
This is Mr. Colburn. That is Mr. Colburn.
Random question, does anyone know? In the beginning, Mr. Colburn rejected the drink. I was wondering if there was alcohol in it and Augusta was too young to drink. I don't know, it's just a random thought. But Charlotte, part of Charlotte, I felt like she was still surprised to see him and Augusta making it to the party. But Georgiana, though, she was checking him out and she's like, that's your boss? Like, he's not ugly. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Mr. Colburn acknowledged Charlotte, like he gave her a quick nod, and in return, Charlotte kind of like a bit shy. So it does show that she feeling something toward him. But good for Mr. Colburn and Augusta making it to the party. This is a huge deal for his niece. This is basically the official entrance for Augusta to go into society and possibly find her soulmate.
These gardens not magnificent?
Not as magnificent as the company which adorns them. But you do not have a drink. You must remedy that at once.
He's always so attentive.
He reminds me of a puppy I once had.
This is a really interesting love triangle dynamic that's happening in this scene. Very nice of Harder to grab a drink for her. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Allison just keep praising Harder, keep complimenting him, and I'm pretty sure at this point it's really annoying Fraser to the max. But Fraser being patient and just going along with it, out of respect for Allison and Harder, I think more respect toward Allison. Like, he really doesn't want to cause any drama between the three, so he's just like standing there and just enjoying her company, but at the same time struggling with his feeling deep down that he really liked Allison too.
What does it take to make a man so cynical, Captain? Have you never known tender feelings of your own?
Absolutely not. I am a typical soldier. Spartan, coarse, uncouth.
Allison is not stupid. She can sense there's something about Fraser, the way he talks about some things and sometimes he would say like a sarcastic comment about the moment that they're in together or about Harder.
I suspect there is a beating heart somewhere beneath that uniform.
You will search in vain.
There is someone. I knew it. What is her name?
I cannot say.
Then tell me, what is she like?
Allison trying to find that side of Fraser where he is vulnerable and that sweet side, the sweet nature of Fraser, if that makes sense. She said, you know, there might be a beating heart underneath you. Like, there should be a good side of you, that tender, sweet, good side of you. And Fraser trying not to show too much to her just because he had feeling for her too, and he doesn't want to show too much, where to the point that he might accidentally tell Allison his feelings or show her or tell her that he might be feeling something toward her. So he had that wall, maybe like a half wall between him and Allison, just because he doesn't want to intervene in Allison's relationship with Harder.
Oh. She is a rare creature indeed. Delicate, yet strong. Guileless, yet wise. But in truth, I am quite undone in her company.
Of course, he cannot tell her because he doesn't want to cause any drama between the three. But when she asks him in a different way by asking him what she's like, it just shows that she's interested and care enough for him, and at the same time, maybe she will, you know, support him to go after the girl, which she doesn't know is her. But Allison being a good friend to him in this moment, she meant well. It's not her fault. Like, she doesn't know the whole story between Fraser and Harder.
Does she know of your feelings?
No. No good could come of that, Miss Heywood. Her heart belongs elsewhere. Besides, I know she could never look on me with tenderness.
It's a bit funny from the audience perspective. Like, she rooting for him to chase after the girl that she doesn't know is her, but he telling her the truth though in a indirect way. Like, he really can't tell her, Allison, that he's falling for her and that the girl that he talked about just now is about her. It just shows he's very respectful, very considerate. I mean, he could have been rude and intervene in Allison and Harder relationship and steal Allison away from Harder. It wouldn't be good for Fraser and Harder work relationship. So Fraser just being the big man in this situation and be patient and just kind of like letting Allison go. And now my brain telling me like one of those wisdom in life, with that phrase, like, you let it go. If it meant to be, like, it will come back to you. So it's kind of like that in this situation. But you can totally tell by the look on his face when he talked about Allison, how much he adore her without her knowing that it is her. He definitely falling for her, falling in love with Allison, and she doesn't know it. It's one of those tug of war of love that he going through with Allison. And I gotta say, like, kudos to him for being patient and very respectful and just being the big guy in this situation. It just shows his true character, and he's someone that can be a great husband for any woman, and Allison would be lucky to have him.
I believe the right person is out there for all of us. Happily, I found mine.
Miss Heywood.
It's really sad though. He did say like Allison wouldn't like him the same way that he likes her. So it kind of like he already rejecting himself to be a possibility for Allison, and that's hurt. He hurting inside too. even though he be nice to Harder and allowing Harder to do the relationship thing with Allison, Fraser is hurting inside, and it takes a lot of guts for him to behave like that, act around Harder and Allison like that, like nothing else is going on, you know? Like he keeping his feeling for Allison as a huge secret, and that's hard to do.
What an unexpected pleasure.
Lady Denham, my niece, Miss Augusta Markham.
Oh, she's a pretty little thing. I'd keep her away from the soldiers if I was you.
I fully intend to.
I really like when Mr. Heybourne told Lady Denham that he intends to keep Augusta away from all the men. It just shows that bodily, bigger, protective side of him, like he wants to protect Augusta and keep her safe, and that shows that it might be a challenge down the road when it comes to Augusta's future husband. It seems like Mr. Heybourne has high expectation of the man that will propose to Augusta and marry her in the near future.
I hope you're going to enter the archery competition. Your late father won the Silver Arrow 3 years running.
Nothing like my father.
Oh, well, that's a relief. It'll save me a fortune in wine.
He sounds like his father was an alcoholic, but his son is not. But on the other hand, from what Lady Denham said, she was hoping Mr. Heybourne would join the competition. So if he did join, maybe we will know if he inherited the skill from his father in archery. Been a while since he been in society. This is the first party in like the longer time for him, and some things are new to him and some things are not new to him. He just gotta get his groove back in society. Okay. I mean, just like the confirmation, I mean, something is seriously going on between him and Charlotte. Like, so obvious. There's some type of spark that is going on between these two. Yeah, everything looks good so far for these two.
It's Markham. He looks so elegant.
And, well, you look nothing like a governess.
That's high praise indeed, coming from Augusta.
Sarcastic Augusta, of course, but it's really nice that Augusta made it to the party with her uncle. I'm pretty sure Charlotte is happy to see both of them, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Heybourne is happy to see Charlotte as well.
Lady Denham.
Oh, Colonel Lennox, you're most welcome.
Thank you, my lady. Are you having a pleasant day?
Very pleasant, thank you. You've been very lucky with the weather.
I should congratulate you on a...
Then here comes Colonel Lennox, and Charlotte begins to investigate with what's the issue going on between her boss and Colonel Lennox, especially when Mr. Heybourne started to turn his head toward where Colonel Lennox was.
Please excuse me. Mr. Colburn. Miss Hayward.
Here, the epic drama between two guys. Yeah, this is a love triangle. I mean, actually, technically, we have two love triangles going on. Fraser and Harder over Allison, Lennox and Heybourne over Charlotte. That's just crazy. Obviously crazy.
I wasn't aware that you and my governess were acquainted. I would presume Miss Hayward to be a friend. Would you indeed?
Colonel Lennox is not happy to see Mr. Heybourne, and likewise, Mr. Heybourne doesn't like seeing Lennox at the party. Yeah, especially Charlotte standing close to Mr. Heybourne, and Leonard tried to warn Charlotte about her boss, and now they all three at the same party that Lady Denham is throwing, and yeah, that's all for some drama.
Excuse me. You chose not to heed my warning, I see.
Is it not possible he has changed?
This is getting really personal. Between Charlotte and Mr. Heybourne, this is not only a work relationship, it's much more personal than that now with this happening. Leonard, she's not happy to see this other guy at the party. I kind of like how Mr. Heybourne said, "my governess." To me, it sounded like a little bit personal, like not in a bad way, but I guess he's just trying to say like, oh, I didn't know that you two are friends, while Mr. Heybourne and Charlotte are becoming friends too with each other. And Charlotte's in the middle of this tug of war between these two guys, and she's trying to stay civil between them. She's trying to be on both sides, like she doesn't want to judge, she doesn't want to knock one out, like she wants to give fair attention and fair support in her friendship with Leonard and Mr. Heybourne.
I very much doubt it. But for your sake, I shall try to be civil.
As for now, Leonard is playing the good guy, like so far, like he seemed to be really kind and really care about Charlotte very much and want to protect her and be loyal to her by trying to be civil every time he see and talk to Mr. Heybourne. Mr. Heybourne is getting upset. I mean, he literally walked away after he said excuse me, but he was really, really upset, and he was bothered by the appearance of Leonard and the fact that Leonard and Charlotte are considered friends. And Charlotte really didn't say anything, like she didn't want to make it worse, and she didn't want to intervene with whatever past that these two guys have with each other. And of course, she doesn't want to cause a major scene at the party. Something really big happened in the past, and with the way that Mr. Heybourne acted, it looked like maybe Leonard's side of the story is not completely true. Again, it's important to hear both sides to every story, and Charlotte hasn't heard it from the other side just yet. Charlotte, she looked a bit conflicted by the end of the scene. She liked both guys as friends. She respects them as their own, and she appreciates the job that she had as a governess with Mr. Heybourne, and she's starting to love his family, like those two girls. Like, she really liking her job now. On the other hand, Leonard, he had this very high, respectable job as a colonel, and he seemed very nice to Charlotte, and she opened up a lot about her job to Leonard. And now with that being vulnerable about her job with Leonard, Leonard says kind of interfering with her job for Mr. Heybourne, and the drama that's starting to fire up between these three. So yeah, this will get a little bit sticky later at the party.
Clara Brereton, will you marry me?
By the look on her face, absolutely not.
It was a mistake for us to come. I had no idea you and that man were so intimately acquainted.
Whatever the history...
What do you know of our history?
Only that there is clearly some animosity.
Charlotte, I think part of her, she wants to find out what happened from Mr. Heybourne's side, but she's not gonna push him, she's not gonna pressure him to tell his side of the story until he's ready, if he is ever ready.
If Colonel Lennox can have the grace to set that aside for one afternoon, surely you can do the same. For Miss Markham's sake, if nothing else.
but she did make a good point. Like, there's a party, it's public, everyone can see what's happening, and let's just, try to stay cool and be civil with one another just for the party. And much more than that, what's important is this is for Augusta, and she's very happy and excited to be at the party, and her uncle should show support and not let anything steal their fun, their happiness, and going to the party, and not let anything or even let it destroy the mood of going to the party.
Very well. We will stay a short while, but we shall keep our distance.
He agrees with Charlotte, and I like how he agrees with her. It's just very calming. Like, he didn't argue with her, like he didn't raise his voice or defend himself. He just humbly agreed with her and realized okay, this is about Augusta. This day, this party is about Augusta and making her happy and preparing her for the future. And it's nice that they have that common goal, that common interest in making Augusta happy and just letting her be herself at the party and enjoy it while she can. But I didn't like how he said that we stay away from each other. It's kind of disappointing. It's kind of he believe that Charlotte is 100% on Leonard's side. So it's kind of she thinks okay, we're not gonna talk more or we're not gonna hang out more. It just shows that Mr. Heybourne is very, very bothered by the fact that Leonard is at the same party and that Charlotte is just a close friend of his while she has a friendship with Mr. Heybourne too at the same time. It's a very conflicting situation for Charlotte. She really doesn't want to be in the middle of all of this, but the nice girl that she is, she gonna be a friend to both men, regardless if these two men hate each other or not.